Hey everybody, it's the Burger Dude, and today we're making a Krabby Patty like Spongebob SquarePants, but vegan, which is actually accurate to the original. As I just learned this week, the creator Steven Hillenburg says that the Krabby Patties in the show contain no meat, and it makes sense seeing as cows don't live underwater. And the components of a Krabby Patty are pretty standard. In fact, it's fairly close to a Whopper, and when you look up most recipes for it online, they are also pretty standard. Well, I wanted to see how it would taste if we infused it with some ingredients from the sea, so I did what any real chef would. I hopped in my boat and sailed to the sea to collect the most obscure ingredients I could find. No, that's a lie. I was actually so excited to make this, I just used what I could find in my pantry to help infuse the burger with some umami goodness. And first up, we've got these dulse and kelp granules. These are super good. I found these at Whole Foods, and it's worth noting, even though these do bring an oceanic-like quality, they won't make the burger or the sauce taste like fish. It'll just make them taste awesome. Next is the seaweed salt and vegan fish sauce that I also found at Whole Foods. The seaweed salt is one of my favorites. You can also find it online. I'll leave links in the description for these as well. After that, we have some vegan oyster sauce that I found in H Mart, which is an Asian market chain. In fact, you can find a lot of amazing umami boosting products at your local Asian market, so go there before you go to Whole Foods would be my advice. And yes, this is vegan, even though it says vegetarian. In case you were wondering if I forgot how to check labels and do a Google search, I still got it. You can also find these two things at Trader Joe's. The umami seasoning is great and versatile, and the furikake is also great and talented in a multitude of ways. And then last but not least, the Old Bay seasoning and sauce. Technically, these didn't come from the ocean, but they are totally fantastic, and they're used a lot in seafood, so who cares? Plus, this sauce is probably my new favorite. Highly recommend that. Speaking of which, let's put together our Old Bay ketchup. So, start off with some ketchup naturally, and it's also worth noting that I was really just kind of improvising here, so there's not much of a recipe as much as this is just a fun thing to experiment with. So that's probably, I don't know, about a quarter cup of ketchup, to which I'm going to add some of the Old Bay hot sauce. We're going to give that a mix, and then realize I might as well use some of that vegan fish sauce too. And this was some ridiculously good ketchup right off the bat. We're doing great. So next, let's amp up our mustard. So we have some yellow mustard here, and then I'm going to add in a little bit of miso in there as well. This was a trick I saw on Binging with Babish's version. And after that, I gave it a taste, and I thought, let's use some of that Trader Joe's umami powder, and then hey, why not add the brine from some capers too? And then hey, why not some dill, you dillweed? And turns out I was right. This was the most marvelous mustard ever. And now let's make the maritime mayo. So we're going to start off with some vegan mayo. I'm doing about a half cup there. And then we're going to add in some of the dulse flakes as well as some of the kelp flakes as well. And then some more dill, never hurt nobody. Some sweet relish or dill, whatever you like. A little brine for some pickles, those are dill as well. And then some Old Bay seasoning. We'll give it a stir and then realize maybe we should add in a little bit of the seaweed salt. And after that, we're going to realize that this is one zip zappin' sauce, and it's time to put together our seasoning fit for King Poseidon, which I'm calling secret seasoning. Get it? Because of the sea. I'm sorry about that. Anyways, let's get some of that furikake, and then more of the kelp and the dulse flakes. And why not a little bit more dill? I love dill, so sue me. And then after that, we're going to get a little bit of that seaweed salt. Next, we need to grind this up in a spice grinder, aka my old coffee grinder. And there you go. This stuff is super savory, and I couldn't wait to sprinkle it liberally on my burger. Speaking of which, let's get our burger together. Now, usually I use a burger press for my patties, but this was actually a pretty neat little trick. I've seen other folks do this, and I'm totally sold. All you need is a cookie cutter and however much plant-based meat you want to use, some parchment paper, and then simply form the patty inside the cookie cutter. Also, I'm using 6 ounces of plant-based meat because I was super hungry. And there you go, a nice big old Krabby Patty in the making. And now, we got our mise en place with our lettuce, tomato, onions, pickles, vegan American cheese, our Old Bay ketchup, our miso dill mustard, our maritime mayo, and then our seasoning. So all we got to do at this juncture is get a cast iron or non-stick skillet. For cast iron, I like to spread an even layer of oil on it. Not sure if that helps, but it's oddly satisfying, so I do it anyways. Then, of course, we gotta toast our buns. And I'm just gonna be doing a dry toast here, but feel free to add butter or whatever you like. And once our buns are nice and toasted, something like that, let's add in our burger patty. And then we want to sprinkle on our secret seasoning. I'm sorry, I'll stop doing that. Cook that for about 3 minutes or so, and I thought, why not use my fish spatula for this? It seems fitting. Incidentally, this spatula has never touched any fish. I got it specifically for flipping burgers in the cast iron. And then once it's flipped, we're gonna season again, and let's add our vegan cheese slice. And the next step will really help melt the cheese. Add a few drops of water to the skillet, and then you're gonna wanna immediately cover it with a melting dome. And then 345 days later, bam, melted cheese. And now all we gotta do is assemble our burger. So let's get our toasted bottom bun and slather it with that Old Bay ketchup. And I gotta say, this ketchup might have ruined regular ketchup for me. You really gotta give this a shot. And then of course, we need to tuck in our pickles and read them a bedtime story. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next week. I'm just kidding. Next, our big old patty needs to settle on in. And this was kind of a rough landing, but it turned out okay. And then we're gonna top that with some of our pickles, which you mustn't forget. And then our tomato slice. And then, yes, I know that looks like a hair, but it's just some dill from the pickles. Regardless, let's 86 it. And we're gonna add our onion, and then next our miso dill mustard, the iceberg lettuce, of course. And then we need to, with a heavy hand, spread our maritime mayo on top of the bun. And then finally, place it upon our Krabby Patty. Now, usually I make things at least once before I film them, but since I kind of just threw this together, I had no idea how this was going to turn out. So just for transparency, I'll include the audio of when I first took a bite and my reaction.
Oh my God. Holy moly. It's so good. Holy shit. Wow.
Wow, indeed. This was seriously like just a phenomenal burger. It's about 6 hours later as I record this and I'm still full, but watching this footage, I totally want to eat another one, and it goes without saying that I think you all should try this out. Like I said, it's not a recipe as much as it is just a fun little way to improvise in the kitchen. Either way, I hope you all take a crack at this, and if you dug this video, give it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell. It really helps out the channel. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.